Call to order the Wickliffe City Council meeting on February 25th, 2019. Sandy, please call the roll.
Wickliffe.
Present.
Bogo.
Present.
Jaworski.
Here.
Toski. Here. Levon.
Here.
Sakis.
Here.
Saloto. Here.
Mayor has a swearing in of a part-time firefighter and a part-time police officer.
Correct, and we'll start with Mr. Wayne Grant. You have someone that's going to hold the Bible for you, and then Grant. There you go. So place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Wayne Grant, do solemnly swear
I, Wayne Grant, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the laws of the Charter of the City of Wickliffe,
and the laws of the Charter of the City of Wickliffe,
and that I will, in all respects,
and that I will, in all respects,
faithfully discharge my duties
faithfully discharge my duties
as a part-time firefighter
as a part-time firefighter
of the City of Wickliffe Fire Department
of the City of Wickliffe Fire Department
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations, sir. Thanks again, sir.
Thank you.
Right. Nicholas DeLuca. Nicholas, place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Nicholas DeLuca,
I, Nicholas DeLuca,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the laws of the Charter of the City of Wickliffe,
and the laws of the Charter of the City of Wickliffe,
and that I will, in all respects,
and that I will in all respects
faithfully discharge my duties
faithfully discharge all my duties
as a part-time patrol officer
as a part-time patrol officer
of the City of Wickliffe Police Department
of the City of Wickliffe Police Department
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations, sir.
One of the things the police department talked about last year with the, when we asked for the levy was to get another full-time officer, a replacement officer, we did that, and a replacement part-time officer, and Nick fills that spot. So now our manpower is as high as it's been low since 2009. We're still one person short, but it brings us back to the level we haven't seen for about, actually 9 years. So it's gratifying to see our department going. I mean, all the city council knows from the reports that I've been given, and if you look at our Facebook page, we're getting an increase in activity. So manpower is labor and safety in the city, so I'm very happy to have him aboard. So.
Approval of council minutes.
Make a motion and we accept the minutes.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bogo, second by Councilman Jaworski to approve this council minutes from February 11, 2019. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Wickliffe.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Toski. Yes. Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto. Yes.
Reports and communications from the mayor, safety director.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Council President. All I have this evening is, per my email that I sent out last week, the conversation we had for ABM Building Solutions, the company that the service director and I have been meeting with them for several months. They come in and look at all of our buildings, all of our properties, water meters, street lights as a whole in terms of energy efficiency. And essentially there's state legislation that allows us to do these large repairs and pay for that note out of the future savings after having that energy program done. So we need council approval for the next step. They want to come in and make a presentation so everyone understands everything fully. We'd like to have that on March 18th if possible. And if anyone has any questions for me, I know I sent out the email in regards to the legislation, and they do guarantee those payments. So let's say, for example, if we do project X and they say that's going to save us $1 million over 15 years, and the note we have to pay 200 grand a year, and we only save 180, for example, they write a check for the other $20,000. So we're still paying that note. We have the new equipment. Hopefully save a little more money than that, but we can also use this to get all the street lights done, which would cost, just for example, about $500,000, which we don't want to spend out of our general fund. If we can do that out of future savings, it's a win-win. So we'd like to have them come in and make that presentation so we can hopefully get approval to move forward with that in-depth energy analysis to know what we can do going forward.
Any questions or comments for the Mayor Safety Director? Councilman Sakis.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, just maybe a little, residents wanted to know just who registered for the first alert, like
Okay.
what requires, like the power outage or something like that.
Yeah, and I've thought about it a little more since I know I talked about, maybe water main breaks and power outages. Then we had like 3 water main breaks. I'm like, do I want to?
Right.
If you lose your water, you understand if it's. So defining emergency, I'm still sort of figuring out exactly what it's going to be. But I figured if it's something that's extremely prolonged, if it's going to be, hey, your water's going to be out for 3 days, or power's going to be out for 3 days, it's going to be an extended period of time.
So a prolonged.
Exactly, but if it's a normal power outage, everyone, just like last night, and again, I was trying to wrangle my kids and find flashlights and candles, so it wasn't the first thing I thought of, but if it was gonna be something that, hey, major power lines were down and roads were gonna be closed for an extended period of time, then I'd probably use it for something of that nature. I'm gonna start using emails pretty soon here in the next couple weeks, just for general updates. But there's a cost to each of those messages that goes out, and the more people that sign up increases the cost. I wanna be prudent with those, right? Hope that helps.
That does.
Any further questions or comments for the Mayor Safety Director? We will add, we don't have ABM's Building Solutions in that, we don't have that in the committee.
Okay.
We'll add ABM Building Solutions to the committee of the whole, and I will call a meeting for March 18th at 7 p.m. Reports and communications from the Director of Law.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I want to report to council that a week and a half ago, the Charter Review Commission met for most likely their final time. They worked hard since last year, and they did come up with 3 proposed changes they'd like to submit to council. So at the end of the last meeting, they are preparing the submission to you folks for that, to present that to you, and they'll probably decommission after that point. So that should be coming to you on your plate shortly here. You'll get something from them with the suggested charter changes. I also want to point out a couple pieces of legislation tonight. It's ordinance 2019-17 and resolution 2019-04. They both deal with sanitary sewer exemptions in a company called Umicore. I know back in the fall you did receive a letter from our city engineer talking that he recommended council that they approve a sewer exemption. Kind of a quick background, it's an industrial company that's located in Wickliffe. They have a highly specialized process that's been approved by the EPA where most of their water is discharged directly into Lake Erie. It's clean because they process it. It doesn't have to go into our sewer system. And our sewer waters go through Euclid. The company, I think they purchased a prior company that did this a couple of years ago, Hall Chemical, and their name is Umicore. Somehow along the lines when they purchased the business, they never received the exemption for these sewer fees from the city of Euclid, which is required for them to get it. In addition, under 935 ordinances, our sewer ordinance, we have to approve that sewer exemption as well too. So there was a period of about the last 2 years where they were trying to get this exemption from Euclid and nothing was happening. And they cleared a sewer bill in the amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Lake County Department of Utilities on water they shouldn't have technically been paying for. So we have got this matter resolved. So this is legislation where the council would, per the engineer's recommendation, approve the discharge exemption for this company. And then the resolution deals with a settlement agreement we're entering into between the company, the city of Euclid, and ourselves. Euclid has agreed to pay them money based on these charges they shouldn't have cleared, which they did do. We didn't necessarily need to be a part of the agreement, but I wanted us to be part of the settlement to make clear that we would owe no money to them, that they're only going after Euclid on this settlement, and we'd be free and clear of money, and kind of how Charter's gonna go forward. So I just want to kind of explain the background and how this legislation came about. That's all I have, thank you.
Any questions or comments for the law director? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Communications from the council president, I have none. Amendments or additions to the agenda? Councilman Gallo.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I would like to put into committee our talk about the responsible contractor to get a date. That be committee, the committee.
Might be on the legislation,
Language for responsible contractors is under committee of the whole.
yeah. Okay.
It was added 1/7/19.
Okay. We will, Mayor, how long do you think that presentation is gonna take? Half an hour, 45 minutes? Maybe an hour?
20, honestly, I wouldn't say an hour, no way.
Okay.
Depending on the questions you guys have, and again, it's not gonna go much into more. I mean, there's gonna be a few questions, I'm sure, and I'll tell you, Joe and I vetted them to no end. We tried to find reasons why we shouldn't do this. Not to get off track now, but 20 minutes.
Okay. We'll call the meeting for responsible contractors on March 18th, following the ABM Building Solutions.
All right, thank you very much, Council President.
Any other new business? Or any other amendments to the agenda? It was right after, so whenever that first meeting finishes. Any other amendments to the agenda? If not, move into Police Chief Weiss.
Thank you, Mr. President. In addition to my monthly report, a couple of pieces of information that I'd like to share with City Council. On February 18th, you probably already saw in the newspaper, our SWAT team served a search warrant at 1450 Bellevue. They were manufacturing methamphetamine there. Our detectives ended up working a confidential informant. We had a couple of eyes out of that home. We arrested 3 people out of there for, one guy for cooking the meth, and then 2 other ones for buying pseudoephedrine. We had one person that was living there. Over the last 2 years, he managed to purchase, although I don't know how, 6,900 doses of pseudoephedrine to make methamphetamine. The question came up about, is the owners of the home like slumlords? And that is absolutely false. The people that own it are a longtime Wickliffe family. It was a family home, to my understanding, and they were pretty upset about the turn of events. And unfortunately, I just got a letter today from the health department. Whenever methamphetamine is manufactured in a home, the health department condemns the home. So nobody can live in there right now. There's a remediation process that they can go through, or they have to go through if they want to occupy the home again. And those costs are all borne by the landlord, so. Secondly, we had a overdose death, drug opioid on February 22nd, 50-year-old Wickliffe resident. And then on the 23rd, Ohio Savings Bank was robbed. The person that robbed the bank is the same person that robbed the bank, a PNC Bank in the city of Cleveland. We do have some information. We actually ended up covering, through some video surveillance, we ended up covering some articles of clothing that were sent out to them for DNA testing. And as it would happen, around 3:30 or 3:40 today, the same guy robbed the bank in the city of Eastlake. So, my belief is the guy's a drug user and he's desperate for money. he'll get caught eventually. But our detectives are working with the FBI to track this fellow down. We had a number of calls over the weekend of weather-related. Trees down on Palisades Parkway, Ridgewick, Pine Ridge Drive, wires down everywhere, some arching transformers, and then periodic complaints of power outages. So that concludes my report.
Any questions or comments for the police chief? Councilman Bianlillo.
Thank you, Council President. Chief Ice, number one question, I have a couple of questions. First question is the condemned house, neighboring houses, is there any possible effect to neighboring houses? Because I got a concerned phone call from a neighbor. Okay. All right. The other thing too is that that's my street, obviously, that I live on, say pretty close to home. Rabbi Wolf was here, he could tell you what he explained to me about, he's not here, so. I had a talk with Rabbi Wolf about being neighborly neighbors to each other and not usually using the police to handle disputes and trying to go up to a door and knock. And for a long period of time, this house just didn't seem right. It was in a state of array and disarray. And I didn't know where to draw the line, so I came to the conclusion, and not to be too reactionary because this is still kind of new, but I don't have answers for stuff like that. And I think the best thing that I could have done was to call Chief Ice. That's what they do. Let them determine whether or not there's an issue for public safety, and kind of feel like as a neighbor, I may have dropped the ball a little bit. So I encourage anybody in the city, we have the finest police department around. Please, if you see something, let them determine whether it's something to be of value, because I grew up on that street. I used to ride my bike and my skateboard down that hill. My kids are growing up on that street, and they're riding their bikes and their skateboards down that hill. And I would hate for, let alone anyone else's children, my children, have to run afoul of anything like that. So please, everybody, be good neighbors, but also, if there's something that doesn't seem right, if it hits your antenna the wrong way, and it makes you second guess it, just call someone. Call your council person, let them report it. If you don't want to get involved with calling the police, just make sure that the word gets out to somebody, because these are different times, and being neighborly and just minding our own business, how I was raised in Wickliffe, those days are gone. These are killers. These are methamphetamine, they're heroin, and it only takes one time to end up on the wrong end of it. So please, I implore everybody, Chief Ice, thank you for the wonderful job your squad and SWAT did. And anyone else, please, please feel free to reach out. And that's all I have, Council President.
You make an excellent point. Every time I get a chance to speak publicly, I always encourage people to make sure you call us. If the activity that you're witnessing turns out to be innocent activity, then we just go away or walk away. If it turns out to be some kind of criminal activity, obviously we want to put a stop to that. So if you see something, please call us and let us determine whether or not it's innocent activity or something that needs further investigation.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Any other questions or comments for the police chief? Councilman Sakis?
Yeah, I just want to add to Councilman Bianlillo, there's been many calls in the past year on, neighbors are scared of retaliation, so they don't want to call the police. So I stress, anyone call one of us, we'll handle it if you're worried about that. But my other question is, for a house to be deemed condemned, when that happens, so is there a process to get it back going, or what happened? Is it tore down?
No. There's a process through remediation. I think the health department recommends a list of companies. The copy of the letter that I got today was actually sent. It's a copy was actually sent to the homeowner, and telling them. And there were some attachments that they got that I did not receive. And in those attachments, it described different companies that can help clean it up. So I don't know. This method of making methamphetamine is made like in a 2-liter Coke bottle. They put the pseudoephedrine in there. There's also hydrochloric acid and what's the catalyst from the batteries? Lithium strips from batteries. So they're producing a gas. I'm not sure if it's sulfuric acid or hydrochloric, but it ends up getting in the carpeting, and it can also get in the drywall. And if the health department finds out about it, they don't want some kids living in that home until after the carpeting's been removed or whatever. It's not impossible to get it out. It can be done. Exactly what that process is, I don't know, but I know that the health department will not release that, their ruling of it being condemned until they met that process, so.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for the police chief? Thank you, Chief Ice. Fire Chief Powers is excused as he's at a conference out of town. Finance Director Doles.
Thank you, Council President. I do not have any report other than my monthly report that I submitted prior.
Any questions or comments for the Finance Director? Thank you, Ms. Doles. Engineer Formica.
Thank you, Council President. One thing to add to my written report, you all received an email from me this last week about our CRA mapping. That is complete, the mapping's done. I do have a draft, I call it a draft, of the vacant lands map. I sent that out to everybody to take a look at and see if there's something I may have missed. I kind of just going by Google Earth and memory of, born and raised in the city, so I was like, oh yeah, that's a vacant lot. That's not. But if that map was kind of small on your screen, I have large maps here, if anyone cares. I have a bunch of copies of that, and I also have copies, I know it's not being voted on tonight, but the other maps for the CRA, I have copies of that, as like, stop by and see me after the meeting. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the city engineer? Thank you, Mr. Formica. Service Director D'Ambrosio.
Thank you, Mr. President. All is good in the service department. Chief Ice did talk a little bit about the storm, the windstorm that we had. We did have several trees that were down. There's still one pending, I know, on Pine Ridge. We actually blocked a section of the road off. It was kind of dangerous. There was a pine tree that fell and the wires are holding it up. Orlando Park, Levi Lane, Palisades, the chief mentioned that. We did cut those up today. We got quite a few calls from residents, and we have told them if they drag some of the branches to the tree lawn from the storm damage, give us addresses and we'll come and pick those up. We're not going to scour the whole city. I don't think that's going to be necessary because it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be for how intense the winds were and how long it lasted. I thought I was expecting to see a lot more. Maple Street's moving right along. I will say this, the contractors are very accommodating to the residents. Couple issues with garbage trucks and stuff like that when they have their equipment, but once they see the trucks coming, they do move. They help drag the cans across the street, so they are being accommodating to all the residents there. And that pretty much concludes my report.
Any questions or comments for the Service Director? Councilman Jaworski.
Joe, there was no actual property damage though from the windstorm?
Not that I'm aware of, unless there was a private property tree that fell that I'm not aware of, but we did have a picnic table that got crushed at Orlando Park, just missed that new pavilion, not by much, just missed that, but that was really the only thing that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Councilman
I
Slovo.
one thing, this is kind of a crazy thing, but I actually got a couple calls, and maybe it's just my neighborhood, but has there been a huge amount of increase in skunk activity in the city?
It's maybe.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so there's nothing that we do about that, or that there are a lot of skunks.
Yeah, there's nothing that we do. There's a trapper that the city used to use years ago.
Right.
And some people have called, and I give that phone number out, and they pretty much take care of it themselves.
Do we want to trap a skunk?
Want to get rid of it, yeah. I mean, the traps are
I mean,
kind
I
of,
don't-
I believe they're designed where they keep the trap down.
Okay, that's good.
So it can't spray it.
Unless it's a baby skunk, you can do that.
Then you're in trouble.
Yeah, we don't want to pet them.
Okay, all right.
Any further questions or comments for the Service Director?
It's a dead one on Ridge Road, by the way.
Thank you, Mr. D'Ambrosio.
Yes.
Building Commissioner Sack.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just have one thing to add. There was a letter that went out with, to Maple Street residents. There's a program for rehabbing the houses there that went out, and the application went out also with that. So if we hear anything, we'll let you know.
Any questions or comments for the Building Commissioner? Thank you, Mr. Sack. Recreation Director Stock is excused. Economic Development Director Drake.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. You are going to see the CRA legislation in front of you tonight. And so the final steps to complete the application, once this is completed, we should be able to submit by the end of March, beginning of April. The draft letter for the school board has been penned and has been sent to the law director for review. And this letter won't go out until after the legislation has been approved. And then I've been working on updating parcels to upload on the website regarding ones that are for sale or lease. And I don't recall if I mentioned, I met with the Community Development Block Grant Director regarding potential funding for the city. She's supposed to send me an updated map. I have not received that yet. Also was suggested to take a look at requesting funding jointly with Wickliffe along Euclid corridor to help with storefronts and other external funding for businesses as an economic development piece. The probability of being funded is higher when working collaboratively, and so Mayor Regovich is certainly on board with submitting it jointly with the city of Wickliffe. Is there any questions? I'm sorry.
Your report, is that your end of your report?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Any questions or comments for the Economic Development Director? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Rick. I'll now open the floor to audience participation. If anyone would like to address the City Council, please stand, state your name and address for the clerk's record. Each person will have a 5-minute maximum amount of time. Would anyone like to address the City Council?
Hi, Joe Gentili from Keller Williams. The blighted building on Euclid Avenue, Joe Larich's property. We have it under contract. We have a very reputable person who's purchasing it who wants to bring it back to what it used to be. I know that we had the property up for sale last year. The difference between last year and this year is last year was a short sale. And consequently, we were dealing with a bank that was very old school at how they communicated. So we would fax them all our information and they would snail mail everything back to us. But unfortunately, they wouldn't send it back to me, even though we had authorization agreements in place. They were sending things back to the owner of the property. They have since released the lien, and we have a ready, willing, and able buyer to purchase it. So I'd like to introduce him. His name is Ben Pintabona, and he's known in the city for the work that he's done here.
Just pausing. Ray, how far are we into that process of on that blighting? Are
We haven't scheduled a, we just did a title search on it, and we haven't scheduled anything yet. And then this came about last week, and I advised them to come to council to talk to council. Mr. Penabona has done many projects in the city of Wickliffe. He's an excellent contractor. He does what he says, and his word is very good.
Yes, I spoke with Mr. Gentili as well about this, and, I did advise him that council had voted to proceed with the blading, but we have not by ordinance officially done it at that point. We haven't come to that point, so I believe council could extend the amount of time to postpone the blading to allow the sale to go through. I did explain to the realtors involved that all parties should have full disclosure that in the event the property was not bladed and someone purchased it, that it's in a state of disrepair, the city would want to see it fixed immediately to come back into building code compliance. So once they did purchase it, it can't sit there for months in the condition it's in. It would have to be fixed back to the standards right away, or the new owner would end up in court for, the building violations. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Sure, you could do it. Yeah, because we haven't come to that point of actually preparing the blading ordinance yet. So there's still time for the sale, if they wanted to. I could call it postpone the blading of the property until we see what happens here. And like I said, my biggest concern I would have is the issue if it is purchased, the city decides to postpone the blading and does purchase it, that the property is brought back to compliance with our building department.
Sure. Sure, you can go ahead and speak.
Sure. My name is Ben Pintabona. It's my wife Janine. Actually, we live in Willoughby, but
I was raised right here on Larchmont Drive.
Can you give your address real quick?
Sure,
Sorry.
Ninadell Avenue in Willoughby.
I'm sorry.
Ninadell, Ninadell, in Willoughby. So I grew up right here on Larchmont. I know a few of you. Thank you, Mr. Sack, for those very kind words. There is no question in our mind that this project is, that building is, if there is a picture in the dictionary for blight, that very well might be it. It's in really bad shape. Anybody that's been in that building, and we have several times now, you know what kind of condition it's in. Our intention, and we've reached an agreement with Joe on what the purchase price is and what the conditions are and all that, and we're ready to take this on. Our intention is to renovate that building from stem to stern. Everything in there is going to be replaced. Everything. We're going to take it right down to the studs. If the studs aren't any good, when we open it up, the studs are gone, and we're going to replace those too. So our intention is to replace everything, the HVAC, the electrical, all the mechanical systems, all the drywall, new kitchens, new bathrooms, new fixtures, new roof, new everything. And I know there's a time limit. It's not all the time in the world, but we have the wherewithal. This is not the first time we've done this. My entire career has been spent in construction. Janine's very familiar with what it is we're trying to do here. And we're committed to doing it. And I think we're pretty much committed to within 30 to 45 days, the exterior, that envelope, once we take control of that property, that envelope will be under control. The masonry will be repaired, all those vines will be down, that landscaping that's out of control will be gone, that roof will be repaired, and it'll all be done to building department standards. We're not cutting any corners, we don't believe in that. So I guess what I'm asking is for your patience with us. Let us close this deal, get this done, and we're committed to making that piece of property at least as nice as it was when it was first built, if not more so.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to address with the city council?
I'd like to speak on Joe LaBrush owns a property.
Do you have an address you can provide for the clerk's record?
Yes, it's 29413 Euclid Avenue.
Thank you, sir.
I spoke with Ben, Joey, we've been trying to put a deal together on the building. He's very reputable. I'd like to see it saved. I think he's the guy to do it, so I'm gonna go through with whatever they want me to do that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Would anyone else like to address with the city council? Would anyone else like to address with the city council? If not, we'll mark audience participation closed. Do you have any committee reports? Any commission reports? Councilwoman Kuroda.
So I have just a report from the Keep Wickliffe Beautiful Commission. This was the February 25th meeting. Flowers on the Avenue, oh no, that's today. She put the wrong date. This was the last meeting, which happened a few weeks ago. The Flowers on the Avenue plantings, the Wickliffe Pride and Bloom Committee, a subcommittee of Keep Wickliffe Beautiful, met to decide on the flower selections for this year's plantings on Euclid Avenue. Low-maintenance flowers are picked to minimize the water or even labor by the service department. Keep Wickliffe Beautiful solicits donations from businesses to help pay the cost of the plants, and donation request letters will be mailed out in March. Home Depot is providing coupons to help offset fertilizer expenses for this project. And then also she's got something here about the Buddy Bench program, which is interesting. It's really kind of a neat program. March 1st through April 18th this year, Keep Wickliffe Beautiful is facilitating a special bottle cap recycling program at Modern Day Academy. So the students will collect 200 pounds of number 5 bottle caps, plastic bottle caps and container lids, and they'll be recycled into plastic buddy benches. The students sit on the buddy bench in the play yard when they don't have someone to play with or talk to, and then other students are encouraged to sit with the student or ask them to play. So NBC Universal will be filming a 30-second spot for Subaru and local Ganley Subaru, who brought the program to our attention through their community environmental and education outreach programs. The publicity spot will air nationally in April. Ganley Subaru will take the collected caps and lids as part of their special recycling program held in April, and partnering with TerraCycle to recycle the caps and provide the buddy bench. Wickliffe Elementary School already has a buddy bench and has found it to be very helpful in promoting kindness in their school. So kind of a cool program. That's all.
Thank you. Any other commission reports? Councilman Jaworski?
There will be no planning commission meeting in March.
The Board of Zoning has a meeting Thursday at 7 p.m. Any other commission reports? Seeing no old business or new business, we'll move into ordinances.
Ordinance number 2019-14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into a contract with the Ohio Plan Agent Love Insurance Agency for the provision of a liability insurance coverage for the city and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bianco, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2019-14 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biondello.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, seconded by Councilman Bogo, to adopt ordinance 2018-14 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biondello.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2019-15, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into a contract with Travelers Agent Love Insurance Agency for the provision of cyber liability insurance coverage for the city and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Saloto, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2019-15 on third and final reading. Discussion? Councilman Jaworski.
Again, just for clarity's sake, this is if our systems get hacked and information is, I don't want to say leaked, but stolen, if you will.
That's correct, Councilman. It's basically for any kind of liability. For instance, of tax records. If someone hacked into our computer system, was able to access our income tax records when we used to have our income tax department, that would cover any type of liability we would have for that unintentional disclosure of that information.
Thank you.
Mayor?
And just to clarify on those two, when we were renewing our general property casualty liability contract, the cost did come down quite a bit, so the reduction there more than offset the cost of increasing our cybersecurity limits as well. We were still saving money compared to last year.
Any further questions or comments? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biondello.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bianco, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to adopt ordinance 2019-15 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biondello.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2019-16, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association dispatchers and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, seconded by Councilman Bianco, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2019-16 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biondello.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Kowski, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to adopt ordinance 2019-16 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biondello.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2019-17, an ordinance approving the exemption of sanitary sewer utility fees to Umicore Specialty Materials Recycling LLC for water that is not received by the city of Wickliffe sewer system and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bianco, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2019-17 as presented. Discussion? Councilman Jaworski.
Pete, just going back, your letter dated October 12th, talked about waiting for dye test results from the city of Euclid. So you guys have those, and those
We
are
did
all
receive
good?
those. The final step in that would be the receiving proper certification of the bypass valves, meters that are used to determine flow values. So, and we're with understanding that's got to happen before it can be in effect.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Candelilla?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Kowski? Yes. Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto?
Yes.
Adoption?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bianlillo, seconded by Councilman Sakis to adopt ordinance 2019-17 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Candelilla?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Kowski? Yes. Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto?
Yes.
Resolutions?
Resolution number 2019-03, a resolution expanding the City of Wickliffe Community Reinvestment Area to further include all other residential, commercial, and industrial properties within the corporation limits of the city and amending financial allowances for said community reinvestment area. First reading. Resolution number 2019-04, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, to enter into a mutual release and settlement agreement between Umicore Specialty Materials Recycling LLC, the city of Euclid, Ohio, and the city of Wickliffe to resolve all issues related to past and future industrial discharge sewage utility fees and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Saloto, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2019-4 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Candelilla?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Kowski? Yes. Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto?
Yes.
Adoption?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bianlillo, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to adopt resolution 2019-4 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Candelilla?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Kowski? Yes. Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto?
Yes.
Other legislation? Miscellaneous? Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Bianlillo, seconded by Councilman Bogo to adjourn the meeting.